weather word for today. What is it?
Yeah, I think that's a great example of how we should treat our fellow man.
Right.
Is, we should be generous whenever we can. And so, example.
This is a weather word.
That's your weather word.
Okay.
Example.
Yeah, that is a good example. Okay.
And I think you can do that.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
That's not overly difficult.
What was the one earlier this week that was just awful?
Gosh, I gave you one, ribbit.
Yeah, ribbit.
Ribbit. That was one of the ones I think you've struggled with the most.
I got a couple emails this week of how to fit that in.
Did you really?
They were saying, this weather's good for cooking out. You can either hamburger it or ribbit.
Nice.
Our viewers are great. Anyway, appreciate all the comments. Live look out over Lake Erie. Look, we've got some action, either a boat or a sea-doo there. Water temperature is still very cold. There's another one. Everyone enjoying, obviously, the sunshine we have. Water temperature is very cold, though. If you're out, I did a boating story last year on boating safety, especially this time of year. I mean, lake water 48, you get in there and you're not properly suited up. Hypothermia is something you can be dealing with. Not to be the Debbie Downer. It's nice outside, all right? Look at temperatures, 60s and 70s, especially away from the lake. Whenever we have light wind this time of year when the lake's on the cooler side, the wind's not really blowing anything around, so that cold air out over the lake likes to expand inland. That's the lake breeze, so that's why we are cooler downtown, out towards the shoreline. Geneva on the lake's pretty chilly this evening, so keep that in mind if you're coming from inland locations going up towards the lake shore. And there's your light wind, a little gusty towards the lakefront. I would imagine that's a 5-minute obs that's on the higher side. It's not really that breezy outside, but again, we'll continue with the light wind tonight. That'll help us cool down pretty quickly. We'll go from the 60s down to the 40s in a matter of hours. One of the reasons for that, as you're heading out for your Friday evening plans, is we have very dry air. We measure that with dew point. When numbers are in the 40s, you can't feel the air. Notice the moisture out towards the west. This is where it starts to become a little bit more humid. We will get into that air mass as we get into the latter half of the weekend. In fact, I bust out the muggy meter, second time this season, but look what happens as we get into Sunday and Monday. We're dealing with humid conditions around here before it dries out later next week. That tells you something's amiss weather-wise. So what is that thing? Well, we've got clear skies now. Some action not far off. This is not going to reach us. We'll get some clouds off of this tomorrow, but the stationary boundaries off towards the north, down to the south, we have this big old dome of heat. They're expecting 90s and 100s in the southern plains this weekend and the next week. And along that dome of heat, combined with the boundary, you get these showers and thunderstorms to fire up. So I'm going to take you through the weekend. This is a good example of what might happen. And there it is. I just had to kick higher enough. Pulled out my back. That's great. But you notice how it has showers that may come through here in terms of the thunderstorm format sometime on Sunday. So our forecast continues to have a dry day tomorrow. We've upped the temperature, 72, but on Sunday we keep those storm chances in there, and we have a better idea of when we're expecting those storms. Again, models notorious for really screwing these patterns up. But again, it's been pretty consistent. So here we go. Dry tomorrow. National Design Hour by our forecast. Beautiful. There's your high clouds off of storms out towards the west. And then as we get it into Sunday, notice how we start warm Sunday morning. Here come the storms. It looks like a morning decaying line of storms. If we get that thing out of here, we should have some dry weather on the backside of that. We'll fine-tune that forecast and talk a little bit more about it in the next half hour. Union Home Mortgage 7-day. Notice how we have cooler temperatures to start next week. And then it's back to the sunshine and 70s on into next weekend.
The light at the end of the tunnel.
Guys?
We were just talking, Matt. Wow. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel.
We've made it. We're at the end of the tunnel. We're here.
That's, well,
thank goodness.
It's official. Once Matt says it,
it is.
It's here.
Get the annuals in the ground. We're good.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.